Have you ever had an idea that you didn't act on due to the fear of not being validated or not believing that you as an individual could manifest that idea? Well, today Katelyn's going to talk about a way we can detach our sense of identity from the ideas that come to us. She'll talk about the concept that there aren't people with great ideas, but great ideas that align with people. With this mindset, we can move forward with the ideas that come without deriving a sense of self from them. So without further detail, let's book it.
Hi, I'm Katelyn. This is Algorithm Empowerment, and today we'll be talking about Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. Today we'll be going over 3 key insights from this book, and below links for the best prices on Amazon. Our first key insight is fear. Fear is debatably one of the most important parts of the creative process. Elizabeth Gilbert explains that oftentimes fear gets in our way, when it should be moving us along instead. It should give us that ammunition we need to drive further. A quote from Big Magic that helps to convey what she means by this is that bravery means doing something scary, whereas fearlessness means not even understanding what the word scary means. Gilbert tries to debunk the term fear as being negative. She explains that you need fear. Fear protects you from things like marrying a guy on the first date or walking into traffic. Gilbert's best explanation of living a creative life beyond fear is when she talks about a road trip she goes on with fear and creativity. She explains that fear gets a spot, but fear doesn't get a say in where or what they do. Fear just sits there to remind Gilbert that this is even worth doing. Creativity, on the other hand, gets to speak its mind and control the car all it ever so pleases. Because the road trip is about how far creativity and Gilbert can go, and how fear, while it has no input on anything they do, it helps them get there. Our next key insight is ideas, which is my personal favorite part of this book. Gilbert romanticizes the creative process, which I feel like isn't done enough. We think about writer's block with dread, when while it is daunting, it's not forever, because you never know when an idea is waiting for you. Gilbert explains that ideas have a consciousness. They are floating around and looking for their human partner to bring them to life. Gilbert explains that ideas seek people that they believe are the best fit for that idea. She explains that we don't have to do the work when it comes to creating a vision. We have to wait for our idea, and when it comes to you, you know. It's that moment where you're frantically searching for a sticky note. Or the moment where you get an idea and it makes the hairs on your arms tick up and you get that rush of excitement. That's how you know. An idea found you, an idea chose you, and this is where you have 2 options. You can choose to say yes and take on the idea, or you can politely say, I'm sorry, now isn't the right time, and let the idea move on to the next person. In a sense, it's like dating. You go through all of these ideas, and then you find one you love, and make these magical things. And sometimes it's a lifelong pursuit, and then other times you finish the idea, and you move on, because there are so many beautiful ideas just out there waiting for you. Our third key insight is to be a genius. If you didn't recognize Elizabeth Gilbert, let me fill you in on her success. She wrote Eat, Pray, Love and was on the New York Times bestseller list for 3 years. So it was quite an accomplishment, and people would ask what's next for her or how she was going to top that, and she didn't know. She was scared that she wouldn't be able to. Then came her research into geniuses. What makes one a genius? Where did this term come from? And she found that the Romans believed that an exceptionally gifted person had a genius instead of were a genius. This way of thinking helps to keep the artist's ego in check. In this way, they don't have to take full credit or blame. If your work is successful, you think you're genius. If your work isn't, it's not all your fault. The shift from this way of thinking came with the Renaissance era, which Gilbert describes as a huge disservice to artists, going from having a genius to being a genius. It elevated creators into something of a priestly caste, which Gilbert describes as a bit too much pressure for mere mortals. Having this understanding that we don't need to be a genius, that we don't need superpowers to be an artist, we just need help sometimes. As Gilbert puts it, this helps us to have the glory of merely making things and then sharing those things with an open heart and no expectations. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I highly recommend this read. Again, links below for the best prices on Amazon. And as always, keep giving her.